are we doing this lovely Saturday? I have some bad news. I'm so sorry to share that Natalie actually woke up with a migraine today, so she will not be joining us here on the stream. So you're just stuck with me. And I didn't mean to do this, but it's kind of funny. Natalie's not here. She doesn't even go here. Oh, that's so fun. I didn't even mean to do that. But Natalie, if you see this, we're pouring one out for you to cure your migraine. Okay, come on. There we go. There's the hearts. But good morning. How are y'all doing? We are here. It is Saturday. And I'm ready to get some progress made on project terms and conditions. But I'd love to know what all of you are going to be working on this morning or afternoon or whatever time zone you're in at this current moment. But it is currently 10 a.m. for me. But also, and since we're working on project terms and conditions, one could say that I'm in a silly, spooky mood because it's a paranormal thriller. You get it? And coffee, because we love coffee. But yeah, drop what you're working on in the chat, and I'm going to say hello to some friends. Hello, Evelyn. So happy to have you here. Falcon, it's been so long. I've missed you. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Amanda is ready to get some words in. Same, girl. Same. Ian, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Duchess, good morning. She's yelling at the people. Yes, we're all pouring one out for Natalie on this Saturday morning for sure. Working on draft 3 of my novel. Gave myself a deadline of the end of the month. Okay, how much further do you have left to go? Like, are you like halfway? Are you like 3/4? I'm just curious. I'm nosy. I want to know all the things. Drafting the next few scenes of my adult fantasy book. Been stuck, but I've done some brainstorming this morning, so now I'm ready to write productively. Love that. You already got like the hard part out of the way. Organizing the thoughts. Now you just get to execute the thoughts, Love that. Working on book 6 just keeps going and going. Isn't that how it always is? Just, man, sometimes some of these stories that we write, just they take on a mind of their own and they just go on for forever and ever and ever. But it's fine. Evelyn is hopefully finishing chapter 7 of draft 1. Evelyn, something tells me that you will finish chapter 7 of draft 1 on this stream. I'm just speaking that into existence for you. I think it's going to happen. Hello, this Radiant Live. Welcome. Good morning. Towards the end, but I've reached the end of my outline, so we're winging the end at this point. I love that. Well, fly by the seat of your pants, and we wish you luck towards the end of your journey of draft 3. You got this. Hello. Happy to have you here. Good morning. Trying to work on my planner once again. Hey, we love to plan. Listen, oh my gosh, what was it? Yesterday? Time isn't real, But yesterday I was at work and I was working on just like getting my life together for this coming week because I have obviously I'm recording vlog this weekend and I'm going to be editing it Monday, rehearsal Tuesday, the vlog goes up Wednesday, rehearsal Thursday, and then I leave for a trip on Friday. So I put in all my things and I was like, oh, so basically next week we're booked. Okay. But it's fine. It's all things that I enjoy doing, so it doesn't feel like it's, work or anything. So I don't mind it. And I wasn't even really I decided to do this whole 3-stream weekend moment literally like yesterday. And so happy to be here. Happy to be writing with all of you. And I really just needed to do something that was going to jumpstart my progress on draft 2 because I don't know. I've been procrastinating it. I really have because it's hard to go back to, I guess, revision, like heavy revision after you just come off of this like huge high of like having a book out. And so it's just, it's been difficult to rein my thoughts back in and to get me to focus. But this lovely stream-a-thon we're doing this weekend is what's doing it for me. So thank you all for being here and being awesome and writing with me to help me get out of a little bit of a writing slump. I appreciate all of you. Hoping to work on Project 7 Deadly Sins and my poetry collection. Also hoping to maybe get my Substack together, maybe finally film a YouTube video. Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. So many fun different things. So many different avenues you could go on. You got this, for sure, for sure. But if you have never been here, which I think most of you have been here, also Duchess is trying to say hello. I don't know if you can see her, but she's like, hello, humans. Welcome to, this is really her stream. She's stepping in for Natalie. So we're co-hosting, me and Duchess. Just vibes. Just vibes. Oh, that's what you wanted. You just wanted to get up in my lap. I'm exposing you to the internet. She is so unamused. Are you falling asleep like that? What are you? Okay, that's weird. Mwah. Oh, hi, Anna. Welcome. Need to write the last scene in your book, final draft. Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. Oh, and excluding some missing scenes. Okay, you have to add those later, but still, the final scene of your book and the final draft. That's crazy. That's awesome. Yes, she is cute. Hi, Ari. Good morning. Happy to have you here. Yes, she is. She is cute, but don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you. She is also sometimes not nice. Yes, kitties are great. But I think I'm not really feeling, because I mean, obviously I just woke up like an hour ago, so I'm not feeling like super duper yappy in this time in my life, because also I'm by myself, so I don't really have like much to say in this moment. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into the first sprint. But if you have any like topics or questions or anything that you want to talk about in the next right after this first sprint, drop those in the chat. I'm gonna star them, and that way we can just go through them all and yap and chat and have a good old grand old time before we do our final sprint of the day. Okay. So that is your homework assignment for this first sprint, but also I need you to be working on your projects because that is important. Okay. Oh, okay. Apparently yeah. Love that. Okay. So 40 minutes are on the clock, friends. Best of luck. Happy writing, and I'll see you in 40. All right, friends, how did you do? Not gonna lie, I didn't get a whole lot done because I was mostly going back and like doing some rereading of some of the edits that I did last night, just to make sure that I liked those edits. And then I also was helping my mother-in-law. She's actually leaving in like the next 10 minutes to head to the airport, and so I was just talking to her, saying bye to her, making sure that she had everything that she needed to get on back to the airport. So yeah, ended up doing mostly reading during that, but hey, that's still progress. But y'all really showed up and showed out with these questions. We're going to get to those in a second, but first I want to know how everybody did for the sprint. I see that we had a FaceTime with a newborn baby. That sounds like so much fun. I love that. Newborn babies sometimes are really cute. Listen, we all know, we've all seen one of those babies, and sometimes they do be coming out looking like an alien, but usually that's, that wears off in like a month or so, and then they're cute again. So just debating on whether or not I want to write this morning, feeling so unmotivated right now. Hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to body double and hang out and help each other get through it. Because listen, I'm honestly, if we're being real transparent, I didn't want to write this morning either. I was like, oh, I don't want to. But having this live stream right now forced me to kind of get back into it. And I'm already like, I'm ready to go. Now I'm like feeling the motivation. I just had to force myself into it. So maybe you just need to do something to force yourself into it. Do something small. Just like read a page, like the last like 3 pages of what you wrote, and just kind of like maybe tinker around with those 3 pages. Only 3 pages though. Don't go all the way back to the beginning, just the last like 3 pages. And just work through that, and then that'll kind of get your brain like in the scene of what you were doing, of what's really going on, get you back in the emotion of the scene. And then maybe that'll be enough to be like, okay, I know where we're going from here. Let's type it out. Let's get it going. That's usually what I do to kind of help me get out of a funk, which is why I spent most of that first sprint reading through work that I had already done yesterday, just to get me in the headspace, Hi, Glow Llama. Welcome to the stream. Gracie got 421 words, did chores for the first 10 minutes to get me going, but I'm happy with 421 in half an hour. That's great. Great progress. Called to collect home renovation tools, LOL, but did get a page and a half written. Oh, congratulations. Still good progress. Trying to figure things out for my planner. You got this. Finally finishing editing chapter 4 of my MC romance I'm working on. Love. Got a few lines written, and then the pup decided he was done napping and wanted food, so I just got done making his food, drank my protein shake, and making my breakfast. Hey, all of that sounds very productive. Everybody's fed, so the next sprint, you get to lock in. 230 new words. I went back and reworked some stuff. Nice. Wrote a couple 100 words. Were a suspect threw coffee in the investigator's face. Ooh, was the coffee hot, or had it gotten to room temperature? Because if it was hot, that I can see I would probably have to hit somebody if someone threw hot coffee on me. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out what I want to work on. It's tough out here. It is tough out here. The ideas are endless, but we have a lot of fun topics and questions. So we're going to just start working through those. And we're going to start with Renee. When walking into a new series, what are some of your first steps? Just curious of my process. So I have technically never written a series. I've started to plot a series, but so I guess my first steps for that were to kind of like figure out how many different arcs I wanted to go through, and like how different those arcs are, but also while maintaining the through line of the story. And so I think really it was, I wanted to, I guess the first thing that I did was I nailed down my large arc over the whole series, which is kind of how I figured out that I wanted it to be about 4 books. And I decided, what is the big problem? Because obviously I feel like each book in the series needs to have its own big problem. Otherwise it can kind of fall into that like middle book syndrome where it's like, okay, this is just like a filler moment to get us from point A to point B. And so I wanted to make sure that each of the books that I wanted to write had its own big problem. And because you can carry over all the little problems and the weave those through, but if each of them has their big problem, then usually you have enough there to go ahead and start working your way through each book. But obviously, depending on what genre the series is, like for me with fantasy, I did a lot of world building before really nailing down my first outline of the Project Purple series. So yeah, my first steps were world building, figuring out the big problems. How many big problems am I going to have? And that kind of like helped me figure out how many books I wanted the series to be. And there's also, prequel series potential. So, who's to say? But that's my personal process. That's what I did to get started on my first series that I'm going to be writing. I'd love to hear about the beginnings of your creative process. When you have an idea, what's the first thing you do? How much do you plan? How do you balance multiple ideas? Choose the next project. Okay, so that is a loaded question. So let me break it down. Have an idea. What's the first thing that I do? So the first thing that I do is I have a Google Doc of just like random story ideas. And once I get that initial spark of an idea, I immediately open up my Google Docs and I just literally word vomit, brain dump any and everything, every thought that comes to my mind. And usually this happens, most of the time it happens in the middle of when I'm working on another project. And so allowing myself to just like pause, open up that Google Doc and just like brain dump every single thought that I have about it, it sort of scratches that itch of the shiny new idea syndrome, because it's so easy to get this new idea that sounds so fun and so amazing and to be like, oh, what I'm working on now isn't as fun, so I'm just going to close on that and start working on this. Very easy to fall into that trap. And so I feel like allowing myself to just have that brain dump time. And I don't necessarily set a time limit on it. I'm just like, once I get all the thoughts out that I have in that Google Doc, I feel satisfied. I feel like I've worked on that project in some way, so I can put that to rest until later. There's a surprise tool that can help us later. And then I go back to the big project that I'm like really focused on, Let's see, but how much do I plan? I mean, I don't really plan. I just, like I just said, I word vomit everything and then balance multiple ideas, choose the next project. So for me, as far as balancing multiple ideas / projects, I guess at one point I was balancing 3 different ones, but all 3 of them, I try to make sure that if I'm balancing projects, that they're all in a different phase of the writing process. So for example, GWC, Ghostwriters Club, was in its like final like proofread line edit phase. So it was a very different type of edit. And then obviously Project Terms and Conditions is going into its first developmental edit. And then Project Purple was in the outline phase. So all 3 of the things that I was kind of like tinkering around in my brain were in very, very different stages. And so there was really no like overlap between them because I was focusing on different aspects of the story with each project. So that's sort of how I do it. I don't really like to have, I guess, multiple projects in the same stage, because sometimes if I want to take a break from revision, I can hop over to my outline project and outline for a bit. And then if I get stuck in the outline, I can come back to revising something that's already like written out, And so I like to have them in the different phases depending on what my brain feels like doing that day. And obviously, if there's one that has like solid hard deadlines, like for example, Ghostwriters Club, once I had set the publication date, I was like, okay, this is priority number 1. And in the times when I'm not super, super focused on this, I have these other 2 projects in very different stages to kind of go to depending on what I feel like doing. But yeah, that's kind of how I personally do it. But that was a great, great question. All these are great questions. If you could describe in 1 word how you're feeling after publishing Ghostwriters Club, what would you choose? 1 word? That's all I get, Taylor? I have a lot of words. I guess one word would just be proud. Proud that I stuck with it. Proud that I was, brave enough to put myself out there on the internet and open myself up to criticism and harsh feedback. Proud that I decided to not only do the thing, but document it here on YouTube. So now, forever and ever, I get to go back and watch myself write and publish my very first book forever. And I think that's really cool. Proud that I took a chance and did something that had no guarantee of any kind of success. And so, yeah, I guess I would just say proud. What is the biggest challenge in moving on to the next project after finishing something? Oh, I was literally just talking about that. So honestly, I was struggling there for a minute. Because the book came out on April 29th, and yesterday, May 9th, was the first day that I had written anything, thought about working on something. So, I feel like the biggest challenge in moving on is honestly just starting. And because I think that was what was holding me up, was just the thought of starting and just feeling so accomplished and oh, I did this really, really challenging thing. And then you turn your head to your other project and you're like, oh, I got to do all of that again for a whole other book. And so it can feel a little daunting. I don't remember who told me this, but I was talking to someone about it, and they were like, well, just start with a couple chapters. Just set a goal. Don't think about, oh, I have to revise this whole next book. Just set a smaller goal of hey, I'm going to revise a couple chapters today. And having that much smaller attainable goal really helped me get started. And so I think that would be as of right now, because that's, I don't have much experience in really finishing something and then starting something new. So right now I would just say start with super, super small attainable goals to kind of get yourself back into the flow of revising or drafting or whatever phase your other project's in. And hopefully that will just kind of get the ball rolling, and you'll get on to it. Also, chat is popping off. Let me catch up on chat before I get to my next question. Let me see. Oh, maybe I'm not as behind as I thought. Yes, the brain dump Google Doc. We love a Google Doc. And I love using Google Docs because you can access it anywhere. I can access it on my phone, on my computer, my work computer, my personal computer, my iPad, literally whatever device that I have closest to me, I can access my Google Docs. So if I get an idea, no matter where I'm at, I have a place where I can just write it down. Also, I use the Notes app on my phone. If I don't have internet access, I use the Notes app on my phone, which doesn't require internet. So, oh, thank you so much. Y'all are so sweet. Honestly, it still doesn't feel real, but here we are. Exactly. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Oh, good morning from Alaska. Happy to have you here, Lynn. Welcome. Okay, on to the next question. You said in your recent video that your wedding and GWC being so close meant you felt great about this point in life. Looking forward, what else is going on this year that you're hyped for? So I'm so glad you asked, because actually yesterday I got, so we have a indie bookstore here. It's called Novel, and that specific bookstore, one of my I have a couple friends that work there, and they were talking to me about you should do an event or whatever, blah 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 blah, or request us to order some copies. And I was like, okay, I'll try. So I reached out to the team or whatever, and they got back to me yesterday, and we're talking about the possibility of me being a featured author at one of their adult book fairs that they host. And so basically what it is it's literally like the Scholastic book fair that we all went to as a kid, but it's for adults. There's you get 2 drink vouchers, and then you get fun little merch, a bag or whatever. But this specific one is their fall one, and it's their spooky book fair. and they thought that my book would be a great fit for that. And so nothing is confirmed yet, but the possibility of being a featured author at a spooky book fair at a bookstore here where I live sounds so freaking cool. And also they mentioned the possibility of like if they order stock of the book, I could come in and do like a signing, like a bulk signing, so that they can sell like exclusive signed copies of the book from the bookstore. And just both of those thoughts are things that I never thought I'd be able to do. Like I'd never thought I'd be able to sit at a table and be a featured author at a book fair. Like, are you kidding me? So that's one thing that I'm super looking forward to. I hope that it works out, but I'm crossing my fingers, knock on wood. I don't want to jinx anything, but that I literally got that email yesterday and was like, holy crap, that would be amazing. I would absolutely love to, please. And so they said that I should be looking out for some more information later in the summer, because obviously the book fair is in the fall. So they plan their events like a few months out. And so, yeah, I'm going to be possibly a featured author at a spooky book fair for adults, which is like a dream come true. Are you kidding? But yeah, that's one thing that I'm hyped for. Obviously, I'm really hyped about like the more I got into let me try that again. The more that I got back into Project Terms and Conditions, the more excited I got about the story. And going through it, I can already see my growth as a writer, because a lot of the pitfalls that I had in the early stages of the Ghostwriters Club, they don't really exist in this story. And so it's just, I mean, yes, there's problems. There's things that can be fixed for sure. Don't you worry. But just seeing my own growth as a writer has been something that I've just been really reflective on and like getting really hyped about. And so, yeah, just fun little things like that. Yes, I'm so excited. Listen, they've only been doing them. They just started them like last year, and they're so fun. I think I even have like a fun little like short somewhere on my channel. I didn't do a good job of like actually showing very much of it, but it was around this time last year that I went to one of their first book fairs, like for adults that they were having, and it was so much fun. Yes, it would be just the idea of, and I've even thought about it. So hear me out. You know, you all know and love Miss Honey, right? The Honey, the corgi. I need to ask them if it would be possible, but we got to get closer to that time. But I think it'd be so fun if I got like a little like shirt made for Honey that says "Ask my dad about his book," and she just sat at the table with me. Like, could you? I would cry. That would be the cutest thing. And just like, honestly, they would come to my table to say hey to the corgi, but then they would stay to hopefully buy a book. You know what I'm saying? So like, that would be so much fun. And yeah, I can't put it into words. It's just cool. Just freaking cool, you know? Like, we're all out here really doing the thing, and I'm proud of all of us. Like, we're doing the thing. And just also the coolest part though is like the book that some of you have already like gotten and read. You literally wrote that book with me. Like we wrote it together over live streams and over vlogs, and like it's a really cool experience to see a lot of you here that have come to streams for months and at a time. You were here while I wrote that book and worked on that book and cried over that book and wanted to throw the book in the garbage. You were here for all of it. And so it's just like so cool. And now you're all here for Project Terms and Conditions. So eventually, whenever that comes out, probably next year, like it's just really cool to me. And I love it. I love getting to hold something in my hand that I like watched someone work on for so long. Like, I just think it's the coolest freaking thing. 100% would take pictures. Pictures would be taken for sure. For sure. Okay, back to the questions. How do you stay focused and not let yourself get distracted by your phone, YouTube, etc.? No, you know what? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I give in and give into the YouTube. But honestly, for me, something that I have recently implemented is on my actual phone. The only notifications that I get are phone calls. So if I get a message or a text or whatever, my phone doesn't like actually notify me until I like pick it up to unlock it, and then I can see that I have some text messages, But other than that, that has been the best thing for me, is just having my phone on silent. And so if it doesn't buzz or ding, then there's nothing there to like distract me. So honestly, that is my best tip. And obviously the reason that I keep notifications of phone calls on is because usually if there's some sort of emergency that happens, it's going to come to me as a phone call and not like a text message. So I keep my phone calls on, but everything else, all apps, whatever, silent. So try that out. See if that works for you. Advice for the creative process and writing with ADHD. Radiant Life, I'm so glad you asked that, because whenever you sent me that DM, I immediately went and like wrote out a script, and I've actually already recorded the video. I just need to edit it and upload it, but I do have a video that I'm going to be posting that is basically dedicated to you, because you're the one that gave me the idea. And talking all about my top 5 tips of writing with ADHD. So I'm thinking I'm going to have that one out, if not this coming Saturday, then the next Saturday. But it is coming. So that video is coming. So check it out whenever I post it. What is next for you? How many whips do you have in your head and on paper? So what is next for me in the immediate is project terms and conditions, doing like the big developmental overhaul, because the goal is to have this with beta readers for the summer months. That way I can be getting some external feedback. Now, once I've implemented all the things that I found personally, I want to get that sent out. But as far as how many whips I have in my brain and on paper, I have, obviously, terms and conditions is on paper. I have the outline of the first book of Project Purple, but I have like a general outline of the other 3 books. I have ideas for like a prequel series. I have another thriller that I have like some ideas for. I think that's it for right now. So right now I'm rocking with about 9 different ideas in my head and on paper. So we're going to hopefully try to keep it there. But, who's to say when inspiration will strike, honestly. How did you keep focus on one project in the beginning? Someone with literally so many 5 to 6 writing from some time to time. Most focus ones are. Yeah. See, that's just how my brain works. Honestly, I can't halfway do something. And that part of that is like with my ADHD, if I'm working on something, it's all or nothing. Like that's just how it is for my brain. I don't really do well with middle ground. And so for me, if I'm working on a project, I'm either all in and if I'm not all in, then I'm not working on it at all. Like that's just, I don't know. That's how my brain works. And like I said, the way that I'm able to kind of like loophole that for myself is to allow myself to work on something that's in a different stage. Because if 2 books are in the same stage and I have to decide which one I'm going to work on, I will get into like a decision paralysis and not work on either of them. And so I kind of have to, I work through my own like loopholes of my brain and try to make it as easy as possible for me to focus on more than one thing. But that's kind of how I do it. But that's just me and my ADHD brain. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Oh, you're awesome. You are all awesome. I love you guys. Y'all are awesome. I love doing this. I'm so glad that I'm picking back up streaming some more, because I've missed y'all for real. I'm not sure if I actually have ADHD, but maybe. You never know. Yes. Got all the ideas. Just got an idea the other day. It happens. I did have a slight idea for like a mystery kind of thing, but also I don't know if it would just be like a paranormal horror kind of vibe. I have this scene in my mind, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I think about it every time. So, because imagine how terrifying this would be, right? So, this back door here, you can't see it, but I can see it. You see it in a lot of my vlogs. But maybe if I lean this way, it'll go that way. Yeah. So that back door right there, that is where we let Honey out, obviously to go potty in the backyard and all that stuff. And sometimes at night, I have the irrational fear that someone is waiting on the other side of the door. And the second that I unlock it and open the door, they're going to like yank it open and like knock me out. That is just like an irrational fear of mine. It's never happened. And I'm, whatever. But that scene, I feel like would be so fun to put somewhere in like a thriller or like a paranormal or something. And so that was a thought. And then who was I watching? I was watching one of Sarah Sutton's vlogs, and in one of the clips she was doing, it sounded like there was like a whisper noise in it, and I was like, this would be a fun idea of like someone like wanting to just like post about stuff, and then all of a sudden a ghost starts like speaking in their videos, and they're like trying to get a message out like to the wide web to like catch a killer or something. Like I think that would be an interesting fun little story, and that could almost like be like a novella. I don't know if that would have enough there to write like a full book, but just the idea of a ghost finding a content creator to try to get the message out to the world to convict their killer who has like gone like without conviction. He's just walking the streets doing whatever. I think that would be a really fun idea. So, that's the tea. That's all my brain. What do you call those? Story worms? That's not what you call that. That's gross. I don't know. Inspiration is killing me with 2 to 3 stories every month. Oh, that's so many. But we love a lack of there's no lack of ideas, which is a good thing. I feel like you'd be more worried if you were running out of ideas. But at this point, I have enough ideas to write for the next at least, I guess, decade. So we're going to take it and stick with it. Favorite drinks and snacks while writing? Well, my number one drink is coffee. We love coffee. But as far as a snack, see, I have this part of my brain that doesn't do well with crumbs, like on my like productive area. So I don't usually snack a whole lot. But I mean, I guess it would have to be like, I do love like a Rice Krispie treat because those don't really leave crumbs. But usually if I'm eating, I'm not trying not to eat at the desk because I'm just weird about crumbs. It's just like one of my weird things. Ooh, that would be fun. Only a small percentage can hear it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like the ghost is the victim, and like they're trying to use this other person's content to tell the world who killed them, Story worms. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh, hello, womanist. First live. So happy to have you here. We're actually about to get started on our next sprint, so you are just in time. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Story worms is a whole other idea on its own. You are so right. I need someone to write a story worm story. Yeah, same. I can't do both either because I'm also weird about having like residue on my hands and like touching like my keyboard or my mouse, and then it just freaks me out. I don't like sticky fingers. I don't like greasy fingers. I don't like like Cheeto dust and stuff on my fingers. Ugh, it just like stresses me out. I mean, if I'm not like working or anything, I'm just like snacking. I don't care. But if I'm also like trying to like do something with my phone or with my keyboard or with my, or the book, so I don't want to like get stuff all over it. Um, First thing I do after finish draft one is close the laptop and step away for a hot minute. But ooh, okay. I do love some candy. I do love candy. So I guess that would be my snack of choice because candy doesn't leave as much of a residue. Because I can like, if I get like little ones, I can just like pop it in my mouth. Not doesn't get sticky on my hands. So I do like some candy. Um, Same, same. Because honestly, any distraction will derail me like that. Also, Taylor's back. You're just in time, friend, because it's time to sprint. Okay. So 40 minutes are on the clock. Happy writing, happy reading. Whatever it is you do, do it with a smile, and I'll see you in 40 minutes. New EP dropping never. Good luck. Hello. How did you do? I actually ended up getting pretty good work done in that one. I finished chapter 2 and 3. So we got 2 chapters done during that sprint. And I started on chapter 4. So, and even though it's chapter 4, it's technically chapter 5 because there's a prologue. So, we got some good stuff done. Very excited about that. But how did you guys do? Let me know really quick in the chat. No. Also, we had some friends join during that last sprint. We had CK join very, very last second, but they were here. And now they are, I'm assuming they're sewing something because I see fabric and patterns. So that's so fun. Love that. I was seeing congrats, Anna. Anna, that's so exciting. You wrote the last line of your book. Hold on. Let me think. Fireworks? No. There we go. Fireworks for Anna. Da-na-na-na-na. You know what? And you can get lasers too. Maybe. Hello. Maybe not. Maybe no lasers. Okay, no lasers. But you get fireworks and maybe a heart. Yay! That's so exciting. Congratulations. Oh, I know that feels so good. It feels like such a relief. I know it does. Got a tiny bit done. Had to unload groceries for most of it. Important. 553 words. Not quite finished with chapter 7, but death getting close. Yay! That's so exciting. 717 words. Writing an action scene and figuring out the movements has been a little challenging, but making it through. Hey, 717 words, and at the beginning of this, you had no motivation to write. So, that's a big win. You should be very proud of yourself. For sure. Hi, Malin. Welcome. 2 final papers due this next week. Got some research done for 1. Slay. We love to see it. Yeah. We are unfortunately about to be ending the stream. But we had a lot of fun. And you can absolutely go back and rewatch if you want to, because it was a good time. But I will also be streaming again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time, which is already posted over on the channel. So go click notify, and then you can show up, and we can do some fun sprints tomorrow for sure. 773 words. Not sure if I like where the chapter went, but that's a problem for later. Absolutely. That is not drafting use problem. That is editing use problem. Poem written, kept getting interrupted while trying to edit a previous poem. That's totally fine, but you got one written. I love that. Hi, Amina. How you doing? Yes, action scenes are tough because there's so many mechanics of especially if you never if there's a battle scene, there's obviously chaos happening all around while you're also having to focus on what the characters are doing and thinking and all that. So yeah, it's a lot to go through, but that is totally fine. Definitely back for some streams tomorrow. I get things done here apparently. We love to see it. We love the productivity. That's 8 p.m. UK. Perfect. Okay, slay. Well, we will see you tomorrow for sure. Yes, all the limbs, because apparently we have multiple limbs, and you got to keep track of all of them. Allegedly. Yes, editing requires different brain focus than writing focus. 100%. But yes, thank you all so much for being here. I love all of you so much. We were all so productive on this lovely morning, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. But again, like I said, I will be live again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Time for our final stream of the weekend. And yeah, then we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be continuing to work on this throughout the day. I'm probably actually about to get ready to maybe go to a bookstore, because I haven't been to the Barnes & Noble in a while, and I think I have a coupon to get $10 off of a book or something like that. But yeah, Real quick, spam the chat because I'm about to record our closing. So spam the chat with hearts, loves, hi vlogs, thank you stream, whatever you want to say. Go ahead and spam it. Also, yeah, do what Anna says. Hit that like button if you feel so inclined. It would just, help out the stream and all the fun things. Yes, all the hey vlogs. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. Thank y'all so much. Okay, team. We have been so productive. You should all be very proud of yourselves. Some of us had no motivation when we started, myself included, and look at all the progress we made together. Let's do it again tomorrow. What do you say? I think we should. So, without further ado, I will see you all tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, happy writing, reading, whatever it is you're going to be doing. Do it with a smile, and I'll see you tomorrow.